A level 1 critical path problem is one where you're given a list of tasks, an amount of time for each one, a list of prerequisites, and you're asked to find the minimum time to complete all the tasks. A level 2 problem is one where there's a change, where the length of one of the steps changes, or a new step is added, or something is removed. And the question will ask how much the critical path has changed, or by how much has the minimum time to complete all tasks changed. So the change means that you'll have to do 2 steps. That's why it's a level 2 problem. You have to figure out the critical path at the beginning, and you have to figure out the critical path after the change. And here's an example. A graph is already provided. All of the arrows are already drawn, and all of the edges have weights. Those represent time. And a context is given as well. It says that after reviewing the situation, there's a realization that it will take 3 more days to complete step D. The question is, by how much will the total minimum cost increase? So it gives a cost at the beginning per day, and it's asking by how much that will change. So in order to answer that question, by how much will it change, we have to figure out the cost at the beginning, which means the minimum time at the beginning, and figure out what impact the change has. So remember that to find the critical path, I have to find the weight or the total value of each path that goes from beginning to end of the process. So here's one, A, C to end. If I add that up, that's a total of 14 days, 2 plus 12. There's also A, D, F, G to the end. That's another path. That's 2 plus 5 plus 5 plus 7. It's a total of 19 days. And then there's this path down here, B, E, F, G to the end, and that one adds up to 20. That means that the critical path, remember, is the single longest path. It's kind of like the weakest link of all the beginning to end paths. That's 20 days. And so given that it takes or costs $5,000 per day, we can figure out the cost at the beginning. The before cost is $100,000. The actual question asked, by how much will it change, knowing that step D will take 3 more days to complete than previously thought? So this changes to an 8. So this after situation now, I have to again find the value of each path from beginning to end. But some of them don't change. Like this path, AC end, that one didn't change at all. So I can just keep that exact same value. In fact, the only path that changes is this one, A, D, F, G. And it changed by 3. That's the one that became 3 days longer. So that one changes to 22. And this one down here didn't change because the one step that changed isn't on this other path, B, E, F, G, N. So this one stays exactly the same. But because this one bumped up by 3 days, this now becomes the critical path, which means that the total cost changes. But notice that even though this step changed by a total of 3 days, that didn't change the critical path by 3 days. What happened was a different path became the critical path. And in fact, the change was only 2 days, and the change in cost is only 2 days worth.